I'm going to be talking about how training with a heart rate monitor has changed my life. My workouts have gotten a lot more efficient. I know how long to rest. I do something called Zone 2 training. Typically, what that means is I stay in the 60 to 70% of my max heart rate zone while I'm training. I use the zones to know, okay, if I'm weightlifting and I hit the green zone, the 70 to 80%, when I'm during my weightlifting set, I'm typically working hard enough. If I'm working out really intensely, if I go into the yellow, which is 80 to 90%, I might bump into that yellow zone when I'm weightlifting. But typically, according to the studies, they've done studies on basketball players, they perform better, jump higher when they warm up into the yellow zone or the zone 4. And then if we're going to be talking about lifting weights, waiting until you hit that blue zone, kind of 60 to 70%, is where you're going to benefit the most, keeping your body warm, while at the same time being efficient with your time. If you're looking to be a powerlifter, it's kind of more important to actually lengthen your rest. So using the heart rate monitor to determine when your heart rate has come down entirely, that's going to help you know how long you need to rest. Typically, powerlifters rest from 3 to 5 minutes. I'm really more looking for fitness maintenance, so I want to spend as little time in the gym as I possibly can. So for someone like me, or for someone who's possibly looking just to get a little bit of fitness, maybe gain a little bit of muscle, it's really helpful to know how long to warm up, how long to wait between sets, how to keep your heart rate up. You can actually get your American Heart Association recommended amount of exercise for heart health just by staying in that zone 2 during your workouts each week. Typically, that's about anywhere from 90 to 150 minutes of exercise per week in a heart rate zone that is elevated, zone 2. And if you do that with your weightlifting, you can kind of get a double whammy on your bone strength, muscle health, performance, as well as getting the benefit of your cardiovascular exercise out of the way. Now, that doesn't mean I don't typically recommend cardiovascular exercise for my clients. I typically recommend 3 days of weight training per week, in addition to another 2 to 3 days of alternative exercise, something that you really like, running, playing basketball, depending upon what you individually would do as a hobby. Finding an activity that is a hobby that gets your heart rate up and allows you to participate with other people is really good for your social, mental well-being. And I think that overall fitness in general does help your well-being, but it's also been shown that longevity is not increased in those who hate fitness. They've done some studies on people who play tennis, on people who do enjoyment activities for their cardio, and they actually get a longer lifespan based on the people who are doing the equivalent activity length of time. So let's say you're doing zone 2 training on an elliptical for 1 hour a day, or you're doing about zone 2 levels of effort in a tennis match. The studies do show that people of equal levels of exercise do better long-term, mentally, physically, heart-wise, cardiovascularly, are the ones who actually enjoy the exercise that they're doing. So if you do love the elliptical, that can be the thing that you use as your alternative, outside of your weightlifting session exercise. But typically for me, again, I try to do jiu-jitsu once a week as the Tuesday, sometimes 3 times a week, depending upon what I can do. But I'll do jiu-jitsu, I'll do rock climbing, I'll play around with kettlebells and other weights just because, I am that guy who likes to be in the weight room. So that is partially me being a weightlifting person, a coach, a trainer. I fell in love with the weight room, so that is my kind of happy place. But if your happy place is going for a run, walking on the trails, hiking, taking your dog for a walk, those are the things that you would typically want to add into your program as exercise. Heart rate monitor helps you determine, am I completing exercise on this walk or am I not? So what you do, you take your heart rate monitor, throw it on during your activity that you would normally enjoy, and either up the intensity a little bit, or if the activity you would normally enjoy is a little too intense for what your doctor would recommend, you can actually lower that and you can kind of monitor what intensity you are at. I've worked with clients who are in medical situations, and you can determine when someone's working too hard or if they're not working hard enough for the cardiovascular benefit that they need. So I highly recommend the MyZone heart rate monitor. Other people do recommend others. I use a Garmin watch which connects through to the MyZone. I don't get any sales out of this, so just look up MyZone online. They've got a really good program, really good method of measuring your heart rate and activity levels without being too overbearing on the statistics and stuff that some people would really look at. If they were getting a Whoop or something, you get this like subscription and it's doing sleep and everything like that. It's just really meant for when you're working out, and there's no subscription fee, which is what I really love. So I kind of go with my fitness monitors, which I want to talk about my Garmin watch Instinct 2 a little bit later, because that's got a little bit more data on it. But if you look for something that's just basic fitness monitor, no subscription, go with the MyZone heart rate monitor. And again, as soon as you buy it, good to go. All right. These are some of the benefits that I think, especially longevity-wise, being able to track your heart rate and health-wise. When I download my app for free exercise, I'll get on a video call with you personally, one-on-one, totally free. You'll get on weekly calls with me. You'll have a 4-week workout program where I one-on-one individually tailor that program to you. Have a nice day. Check out my other stuff.